And welcome back to part 2 of the Sideline Chat podcast, where now we bring you the Betfred Super League Round 1 preview. Can't believe the smell of rugby league is already in the air, and what better way to start off Round 1 of the 2022 season by having the grand final rematch from the year before, with the Saints hosting the Catalan Dragons.
It's going to be a blockbuster match. What a perfect way to start a new Super League season with the grand final rematch. And it seems like yesterday we only previewed these two teams, but it wasn't that long ago, so it's come around very quickly.
It wasn't. It certainly wasn't. And of course, Catalan Dragons' first grand final, all the hype around that didn't get the result they were hoping for, but it's a fresh season.
They've got the experience of being in the grand final now, so that will calm the nerves if they make the grand final again this upcoming season.
So far, they are the Saints and the Catalan Dragons are the only sides in the Betfred Super League to unveil their full 21-man squads. Of course, Castleford have unveiled theirs at this point, but no one else to this point. So the Saints squad chosen by Christian Wolf reads it as such so far: Amor, Batchelor, Davies, Dodd, Hopperwati, Hurrell, Knowles, Lees, Lomax, Joey Lussick, Makinson, Sione Matautier, McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Parsi, Percival, Roby, Sim, Siranen, Walmsley, Wellesby, and Wingfield. So how do we have a look at that?
That strong lineup, it's pretty much full strength.
I mean, of course they are missing Regan Grace out of this lineup. He has been ruled out for a month because of the injury he suffered during Alex Walmsley's testimonial, I think, from memory. And they did, before that, and they did trial Hopperwati out on the right wing with Hurrell at right centre.
They certainly did, but that's the good thing about the pre-season in like a testimonial match. It's you can change things around a little bit to see what you're going to be going into round one.
Of course, we both were. Well, you predicted correctly that Jack Wellesby will be starting at fullback, and more than likely he'll start at fullback again. And with, like I said, Hopperwati, Hurrell, that right edge, an old Tongan side, so to speak.
Yeah. Didn't you pick Wellesby as fullback as well?
No, I picked him out of the left wing.
Oh, well, there you go.
I got
one prediction right so far.
I had Makinson, Hopperwati.
There you go.
As my combination. Hurrell off the bench. Oh no, Hopperwati at fullback, then Makinson, Hurrell. That's what I had.
Well, there you go. One prediction right. And
well, Lewis Dodd, for me, it's going to be the big test for him because this will be the first time he starts the season as the first choice scrum half. And there'll be all the pressure on him after losing Theo Farge the year before. But, hey, Dodd did get them to the grand final.
He certainly did, so he knows what to expect. And coming up against Catalan's side, it's got a couple of new faces in it.
Joey Lussick, it'll be interesting to see if he's included in the game day 17 as the backup half for James Roby. Or dummy half, I should say.
Look, he might come off the bench late in the game. I don't know. We have to wait and see what Christian Wolf does.
But I would have no doubt that all, or if not the majority, of the St. Helens recruits will feature in the side come game day. Meanwhile, at the Catalan Dragons, this is the 21-man side they named: Bousquet, Chan, DaCosta, Davies, Desario, Drinkwater, Dudson, Garcia, Goudamont, Cassiar, Laguerre, Langy, May, McAlorum, McMeekum, Napa, Pierce, Sam Tompkins, Vare, Whitley, and Fuad Yahad. Now, Catalan Dragons swapping out James Maloney for Mitchell Pearce.
Yes, so this will be a real big test for Mitchell Pearce to see how he performs against a quality side like St. Helens. And I'd say there'll be a fair bit of pressure on him.
I think it'll be a different pace. I mean, not that I'm knocking Super League or anything, but I think he knows the expectations the Catalan Dragons are going to lay down now. And he's a sort of player that's been there, done that. And he'll be looking to, I would say, have a better year than what he did with Newcastle in his final year. And I think he'll have a very good environment, a good professional environment to work with.
He would. And like you just touched on, Super League is a bit different to NRL. It's technically, well, not technically.
Well, we don't have bullshit at bunkers.
It's the same rules. It's the same rules, but yeah, no, like you said, bullshit bunker. So It's going to be. I reckon it's going to be a somewhat successful debut for Mitchell Pearce.
I think it is sad, though, that Artyom Morg has been cruelled by injury and he's out for up to 3 months.
Yeah, that's very disappointing to see.
We both predicted he would get bench utility role, for sure.
Yes.
Or to cover for McAlorum. Now, they're stuck with Tyrone May.
Well, we got that one wrong. It's unfortunate, but hopefully when he comes back from his injury 3 months in the next 3 months, he'll be ready to rumble.
Well, speedy recovery. I think that's what everyone's hoping for because he is such a talent.
Archie Moore, yeah. He is a talent that I haven't seen, or you're starting to see a bit more over here in Australia and a little bit in Super League, but he's got it, and he's going to help this French Catalan side go well again this season when he returns.
What do Catalan Dragons need to do to overcome St. Helens? What would be the one thing?
Well, they need to learn from the mistakes that they did in the grand final, but they've got a new halves combination, so that's going to be a little bit touch and go. So there might be a bit of a weakness there that St. Helens might target. But overall, they've got the majority of the same squad, so that's a good thing heading into this grand final rematch.
I'm going to go back to the age-old thing, and it's going to be with Alex Walmsley. You cut Walmsley down early, you're going to be in for the chance. You let him run on riot, he's going to run over the top of everyone. But I'm expecting this to be a very close game, and there'll be no love lost between these two sides.
There certainly won't be, and close game is going to be more like a nail-biter of the game. It's going to be a cracking first game to start off the season.
I think we can both expect more fireworks to come out of this, but I'm going to go with the 3-time defending champions on a 1-6 margin. Alex Walmsley to be man of the match.
Well, I like this. I've got a bit of a thing for the French teams, like just because the Catalan's going
so
well.
So do I.
I think I predicted Catalans to win the grand final last year, so I'm going to predict them to win again this year, probably by a field goal, a drop goal.
So also on the 1-6 margin.
Yep.
So expecting fireworks to launch for round 1 on game 1.
Yes.
Nothing like it. Now, moving on, speaking of fireworks, the Castleford Tigers will be hosting the Salford Red Devils at the Menderhose Jungle, and it will be the first time that Lee Radford will be back in rugby league as a head coach.
Which would be good to see. How his team will perform with him as head coach will be interesting to see, but hopefully it goes well.
So you always have hope for those sort of things, to hope that they do go well, and I think Radford would have taken a lot of lessons from when he got sacked at Hull FC on air.
And, well, yes, but if he gets a win out of the blocks, it will settle the nerves a little bit. Because obviously coming into his first game back in rugby league, the nerves will be a bit all over the place, but if he gets this win, it'll settle him down a heap heading through the rest of the season. Unless he comes under pressure, which I hope he doesn't.
Well, we'll only just have to wait and see how that goes out. But in the meantime, this is the first squad Radford has named for Castleford. He's got on with a 21-man and squad of Blair, Eden, Edwards, Faraimo, Fanua, Griffin, Lawler, Mamo, Matungi, McShane, Milner, O'Brien, Alfords, Richardson, Smith, Alex Sutcliffe, Truman, Turner, Watts, and Joe Westerman.
Good side. They've got the team there. Can they execute what they've done
Interesting,
in pre-season field?
He's chosen to name both Danny Richardson and Gareth O'Brien in this side.
But it's a 21-man side too. So
In the squad, but he's named both Richardson and O'Brien.
So is he going to cut one of them later on?
Well, we all know Truman's a lock-in at stat and off, but it's that scrum half question. Does he back Danny Richardson or does he stick with Gareth O'Brien, who actually he played pretty good for the Tigers last year?
We had to wait and see, really. I would probably stick with Gareth O'Brien if I was coach.
So you would go with O'Brien if you were in Lee Radford's position?
It's a tough call to make, but I'll go with O'Brien.
I think it's going to be interesting because there's going to be a new second row pairing for sure. I think Massey at loose forward, and then you're going to have Kenny Edwards and Joe Westerman in the second row. Despite, of course, giving the number 13 jumper, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you're named to play, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Hopefully, it's a strong force. It could be one that's going to be hard to beat this season if they say injury free. Let's see what happens.
Now, as for Salford, we don't know who's going to be aimed to take on the Casper Tigers, but Paul Rowley has already hinted that Tim Laffey could be included in that initial 21-man squad. This is in spite of the fact he's only just landed in Manchester and Salford are experiencing huge depletion in the back line.
Well, I think Laffey played in the Lee Mossop testimonial match.
Oh, against Warrington.
I'm pretty sure he played in that match. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm pretty confident he's had a game under his belt already for Salford. So heading to this match,
I think he's a good chance to start.
yeah,
I think
heading to this match.
you would
sure.
either go between Dion Cross and Matty Costello to start out on one side of the field, and then you have Tim Laffey the other. Ken Seo, Reece Williams, ultimately your first choice wingers.
Yeah.
Croft, Sneed, your halves. Briley at fullback, of course. Taylor's your skipper at loose forward, and then you try and build the pack in and around that. Then
Yeah.
you bring Burgess in when he's fit and ready, Watkins, Harvey Levett, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable, if not really good. But yeah,
I've got concerns over Paul Rowley coming in because, like Richard Marshall before him, and to a degree, this will be Sylvain Houle this year as well. He has never coached at a first grade level. He hasn't coached at Super League level. He coached at Toronto, and he brought Toronto up into the championship. No higher than that. Because since then, it was Brian McDermott that took them from the championship to Super League.
yes. Look,
I think 2019 McDermott did, but Paul Rowley, no. He's going to be it's an uphill battle. I will be quite fair. It is an uphill battle.
it's certainly going to be an uphill battle, but very similar to Castleford's situation. If they get the win early, it'll settle those nerves. Whether or not it's this week or next week or in the first 3 weeks of the season, once they get the first win, they might be okay. So, obviously, being a Salford supporter, you hope for the win, but then Castleford are a very similar situation too with their coach for returning to rugby league. So,
Too true.
it's really going to be see which coach has got the players playing well or not playing well. The player team right for the day. That's really what it comes down to, and we won't know until maybe
Kickoff.
kickoff
The final 17, yeah.
or slash 20 minutes into the first half. Until we get a rhythm going into the game, that's when we'll really see who's got the right squad and who hasn't.
If I'm Salford, this is the one thing I need to keep my eye on because I know Jake Marmo's probably going to, most likely, will be named at right centre. So that's the one thing I'm keeping my eye on. If I'm Salford, I am not wanting to throw the ball around deep on the left edge to give Marmo time and space to run on a length of the field trying.
Because they did that multiple times last year.
He probably scored about 4 to 6 tries off 2 games alone from long-range intercept tries.
Yeah.
You can't afford to do that.
No. And he's very hard to hunt down. He's got speed within 2, so that adds in that.
And the unpredictability of Kenny Edwards will make things even more icy. Because on his day, he will throw an offload and it will probably stick.
Yes. So, can't, like I said, throw around the ball too much. Yeah, stick it. So what I'll do is get in the middle, run hard for 3, then start sprinting it out. Then maybe on the fourth...
Well,
the
they
fifth
have
or
to
sixth-
break cap. If Salford are the win, they got to break down Paul McShane aim for the middle. Because I think if you take McShane, you take the Casford middles.
Yeah.
You take their middle defence and then you can push it out to the edge. If you don't, then I think this will be Castleford's victory on a 7 to 12 scale. 7 to 12 margin.
Well, like I said, if they run hard in the middle of the pack for the first 3 tackles and then the last 3 slowly shift it out or cut it out quick, then bring it back in field, they could have a chance. it's an unknown of, like I said, with the squads and how the coach is going to go. Being biased first week, I'm going to say Salford in a narrow 1-6 margin.
So one that says Castleford 7-12, the other that says Salford 1-6.
Yeah, just be biased off the first week, and then
Well, I mean, when it comes to the NRL, we're both biased, but at least we can still maintain objectivity.
Yeah, but this game's a bit hard to predict who's going to go where. So if I just go with my team, I should be alright.
All right, now the Saturday morning game for our part of the world from the newly named Seawell Group Craven Park. Hull KR up against the Wigan Warriors.
Who is celebrating, as we mentioned, 150 years. So they would like...
And Hull KR on their 140th anniversary, only 10 years difference between the two of them.
Well, there we go. So both will be looking to get their anniversary years underway with a win. Although I think Wigan might be wanting that more because it's 150 years. But in saying that, Hull KR would be as well because it's at their home ground.
I'm looking at these two sides on paper. We got to remember, there's no Jackson Hastings, there's no Oliver Gildart. Harry Smith's the new man in the halves, or you'd like to think he's the new man in the halves. Bevan French is apparently not up to scratch. They're actually talking Jai Field might actually be playing fullback for Wigan for Matt Pete's first game aim out as head coach.
See, that would be interesting to see if Jai Field does start at fullback because he had limited game time.
I think he started out on the wing for Wigan last year, and then he went down injured and was not seen again.
Yeah, he's genuinely a half. Preferred position is in the halves, I believe. But he could be that utility player that can play here, there, everywhere kind of thing. So,
Well, that's what they also brought Kate Cuss for, but he's more than likely going to end up a starting time if Tommy Lualai shifts back to the bench.
yeah, but as we don't know the squads, we can't really pinpoint what is going to happen. The only thing we can go by squads is by our predicted lineups. So
Exactly.
but without French there, hopefully you'll be back in the soon, so they can go back to somewhat normal early on.
Although preferred attacking structures, French at fullback, Bibby Hardacre right side, Thornley Marshall. That will get some getting used to on that side. And then of course you throw Bateman in, you throw Singleton into the pack, you throw Partington, Smithies, Kai Pearce-Paul, or Isa gets in there somewhere. Patrick Ego, maybe Kade Ellis gets some game time. I wouldn't know. I don't think he will. For now, at least.
Well, for now, yeah, it's probably there as depth. So if something does go wrong during the season, he's there to pretty much pounce on the spot and could make it his own if he plays really well.
Now, Hull KR, on the other hand, they've had a couple of hiccups as of late. Brad Takarangi, of course, got caught up. He's currently stood down pending police investigation. Whilst, unfortunately, Lewis Johnson has also done himself an injury and ruled himself out for a couple of months.
Yeah, not a good way to start the upcoming season. Like, off-field drama, very, very close to the start of the season is not a good sign. If not, during the whole season, it's not good. But especially when it's so close to round one. It's not good news.
Right
and
on
that might
the
distract
it hurts. It definitely hurts.
They could take their focus might be off the
But
game.
I still think there's a lot of excitement down at Hull KR. Now, of course, we don't think they're going to do particularly well this year. But we still think they could get off to a good start, as it turns out. And they have had a good run of luck against the Wigan Warriors in the last few meetings.
That is very true. So, really, it has to come down. Hopefully, they'll be thinking, we've got the form against them. Let's continue.
Defense
this form.
will be a big thing. I think they showed what they could do against Warrington in the elimination final. If they can take that defensive standard and translate it to a full season, Hull KR will win more games than they lose. And that's why, if they can just get that defense right, target Harry Smith early, and put the back three under pressure, particularly Jai Field, because I want to test his fitness out, I think Hull KR walk away 1-6 wins.
I'm going to go the opposite and say Wigan in a 1-6 margin. It's like the Castleford Salford game. It's really a flip of a coin. But we don't really know the squad, so once we get the squads, then we'll have to go from there. But
We won't know until after this edition goes out.
But I'm going to say Wigan 1-6.
Now, moving on. Channel 4's first free-to-air telecast game in the UK, for all homes across the England and maybe Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, depending how big their reach is. It's the Leeds Rhinos up against the Warrington Wolves. Now, Leeds already at a disadvantage with Blake Austin banned from the opener.
Yes, that's another off-field distraction for another team that they don't need. Like, so close to the season beginning. So that leans towards the away side. But you never know. They might make Leeds more determined to go out and put that behind them and
Well,
make a
I
statement.
think fortunately this opens up a good door for Jack Walker. Because I think we both agreed Walker was not going to get a run in round one because of the way we thought the spine would have been set with Richie Myler at fullback, Austin Season in the halves. But now, Austin banned, I think now Walker starts at fullback, Season moves to standoff, and Myler the scrum half.
Yeah.
Sounds completely fair?
That sounds fair to me, and it could work out. Austin might not be able to get his way back into the side.
Well, Austin probably will, but it'll be debatable to see how Richard Agar wants to play his spine from that point moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
Because he probably doesn't want to have two utilities on the bench when middle forwards are a big thing.
Yeah. No, but who knows what's going to happen, depending on how long Austin's going to be out for. I know
One match, I think.
Or one match.
It's just
but
that Warrington opener. Well, the opener against Warrington, I should say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's not a good start. So let's hope he's come back around to it and they'll get a semi-normal setup of attack and that too.
Because I got some big artillery leads. I mean, on one flank, you're looking at David Fuzatua, who once was the top try scorer in the NRL. And then on the other side, you've got England international Ash Handley, who's pretty handy in the air.
He certainly is. So you've got two try-scoring weapons there. So that would benefit them That'll benefit them.
You're definitely right. And of course, James Bentley with Reece Martin in the second row, it could definitely cause an upset. Well, it just upset the balance, really.
Yeah.
Now, Warrington, on the other hand, Gareth Widdop and George Williams in their first full preseason. What are we expecting from those two this year?
Look, a strong combination to keep going throughout the year. Like, if you start off strong, hopefully they stay fit and fine, and they'll be right for the year. So we know what they were capable of when in the short time they had together at the back end of the last season. They'll, with a full pre-season together, they'll have more of an idea of who's doing what, and they'll just continue to gel together really well.
The right edge of Warrington really concerned me last time out. And really, from word go, it struggled a lot. But it also had some brilliant moments with Jake Marmer rushing away for hat tricks off intercept ball. Also absolutely toweling up opposition sides. So if they can tighten up that right edge defence, I feel like they can take Leeds head on.
Yeah, I agree. That also they'll be working that through pre-season, and hopefully they've got it down packed so they can stop leaking points on that side.
That'll be big, but I think Darryl Powell will get this right. And George Williams is already on the record saying that they want the Warrington jokes about this is our year to come to an end. Sort of indicating his seriousness that Warrington are here for the grand final, not just to be some sideshow distraction that gets knocked out in the playoffs early.
That sounds very familiar, doesn't it not? To a side in NRL. Parramatta. No, but in all honesty, Warrington can go deep in the finals.
Well, of course, I reckon Warrington can make it to the grand and final. And
Although I did not predict that very well with Warrington. I had them outside the playoffs.
Well, I got them in the playoffs, and I think they'll get off to a good start, and I think Warrington will get up over Leeds 7-12.
Agree, 7-12 Warrington. Like I said, I had Warrington outside me playoffs, but I did say as well that I'll start off well, then injuries to key players make them slide down. So yeah.
Well, we'll only see how it plays out from, well, when it starts on Friday. That's all we can do.
Pretty
Now,
much.
the big game. Toulouse Olympique hosting the Huddersfield Giants at the Stade Ernest Wallot on this Sunday to mark the first time a second French team have raised their colours as a professional rugby league outfit.
I'm so looking forward to this game.
I'm
It's-
expecting 19,000 people to come out for this game.
Yeah, or that's the maximum they're allowed at the moment. Is that the maximum 19,000?
I think that's stadium capacity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so packed out, yeah. I'm expecting that as well. How will they perform in the big league? Like, the spotlight will be on them, big time.
No question, it will be.
Huddersfield might fly underneath the radar and like take the spotlight away from Toulouse, but I hope that the spotlight stays on Toulouse. Not too much. Like, there'll be also a lot of build-up and anticipation of Toulouse playing well. But then once the game gets started, put the spotlight away and then just play how you've been training all pre-season and try and get over Huddersfield at a packed-out stadium.
Well, that'll be the thing. And Ian Watson's made an interesting call, naming Luke Yates as his new skipper for this fresh campaign, succeeding Mike
surprise.
Lawrence as
That's
the
a
captain
very
of the Giants.
That's a surprise. Like, we were talking a bit like this off air. We both predicted Michael Lawrence to be captain.
We did. Just
But
that.
then Luke Yates gets handed captaincy, so I don't know what to go
Well,
with there.
maybe
though.
there's something Watson liked about Yates' leadership, prowess, professionalism. So,
But that could change throughout the season. I believe they're allowed to change captains throughout the season.
it depends on injuries and all that. But I think Toulouse are in a very precarious position. I think, not going to lie, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Ford's already left, so that put them down to 25. And the ongoing speculation about Mark Corella is not going to play well to their advantage. And now Mathieu Dressome is going to be ruled out for up to half the season as well. And so things aren't looking good for Toulouse on their first appearance.
Well, no, it's not. But with home ground, with a pretty much 19,000 Toulouse Olympic fans behind them, it might give them that confidence and boost up. Once they score their first try, and hopefully their first one of the match, that will get them going.
So it's a fast start you're looking with Toulouse.
Well, not like a 5 minute, like not a try in the first 5 minutes, but within the first, in that maybe say 10 to 20 minute bracket, if they can hold off Huddersfield in the first 10 minutes, and then Toulouse score in that 10 to 20 minute bracket of the first half, that would be really, really good for them. Earlier, that would be fantastic, but in that bracket, I reckon might be the perfect time to score points.
I think it's fair to say that both Sylvain Houlet and Ian Watson are both under pressure for the clubs that they are. On one side, you've got the latest French side trying to stay in Super League for next year. The other one in charge of one of the bigger clubs in rugby league with a lot of promise, but yet to deliver on serious silverware.
That's very true. Maybe Ian Watson can turn that around this season.
I
He's
think
very capable.
this will be a good starting point, especially with Lola here and Theo Fage in the halves, and with Will Price running around out the back. I'm going to give this to the Giants 7-12.
I'm going to have the French team going this week.
As much as I want Toulouse to succeed, I don't think they're going to succeed straight away, and I think Huddersfield will really capitalise on that.
I'm going to say Toulouse 1-6 margin. I really going to get behind Toulouse. They're going to maybe be possibly my second favourite team in the Super League this season. I just got that feeling that they're going to perform.
I mean,
really
we're all
well.
going to be Toulouse 13, but you got to pick and choose. Well, I suppose pick and choose
Yeah.
isn't really the best word
But I
to
know
say,
what-
but you know that's going to be an uphill battle.
It is, but if they get, like I said, that first point, if they hold Huddersfield scoreless in the first 10 minutes, then score their first points of the game and in Super League to start off their campaign, they will settle the nerves, bring them confidence, and they won't run away with it, don't get me. They won't run away with it, but they'll hang on to win in the 1-6 margin.
Well, that just remains to be seen how well they actually go with it. And finally, of the Super League fixtures for round one, we have Wakefield playing host to Hull FC. Both sides freshened up, to say the least, bringing in some reinforcement and new look sides they'll be running out.
And you can also say a new name, stadium.
Well, new sponsorship.
A new sponsorship, yes.
Regarding Wakefield.
No longer is a Mobile Rocket Stadium, it's now the Be Well Support Stadium. So I don't know if that's a one-off or
Season long,
but I presume it would have been season long. Wakefield will be looking to have a better season than what they did last year, big time.
Oh, without a doubt.
But coming up against a side like Hull FC, it's going to be a tough ask to beat them.
1 year into the job, I think Brett Hodgson will have learned a lot of lessons with the black and white. Because remember, they were in a position to get into the top six with the side they had on paper, with Sneed, Reynolds, Connor, Houghton, and as a spine, and then you throw in the likes of Tumava, Arve on top of that. Didn't perform well at the back, and now you're bringing in Luke Gale. Good player, I will say he's a good player, but he has had injury concerns over the last few years, and that's that could be a bit of a problem.
It could be, but then again, he could be injury-free all season long, and it could pay well for him. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Gale performs and how much of the season he can get in if he gets injured. So hopefully he doesn't because of his quality, because he's a quality player. So
at the same time, one does have to look at the Wakefield side, and honestly, they have to ask themselves: are they really a serious side to go up against?
I don't think so.
I mean, that's just the thing. I think Wakefield, outside of course, outside of Toulouse, I think Wakefield's amongst, and Salford are both two of the weakest Super League clubs. There's not a whole lot about them that really convinces me that they can do well.
Well, I disagree with you on Toulouse, as we know, and Salford, as you know.
Of course you will.
But as you know in our previews, but Wakefield, nothing's really changed there. Yes, they brought in Luke Gale, but that's only one player. One player can't fix it.
No.
Yes, they made other players, but here's the first one that comes to mind. So it's going to be a long, tough season, and it's going to start off with a tough start.
Well, with Holder, you've really got the problem of how do you try and contain Jake Connor because he's such a dynamic player. He can try and beat you with an offload, a fend, or a magnificent cut-up pass that'll help set up either one of the wingers.
Yeah.
And having Griffin back will only add to that consistency and continuity in the whole back line.
Yeah. See, if they're going to shut Connor down, they're going to be hard to beat. He's going to get into that rhythm and form and just be unstoppable all game long.
I think the black and whites will take first blood out of this. I think they'll run away with this game against Wakefield 13+.
Yeah.
And settle the score that was set round 27 last year.
Yeah.
When Wakefield did just that to them.
I'm going to have to agree with you with that. I can't see Wakefield doing much in his first game, to be quite honest. And Hull FC will just run away with it, 13+.
Well, speaking of runaways with this game, it's now time to take our look, a 1 week snapshot into the Betfred Championship, and this time our focus goes to Widnes, where the Vikings dominated Workington 70 points to 80 in an absolute demolition, 12 tries to 3.
And to make things worse, it was 30-12 at half time. So Widnes managed to put 40 points on Workington in the second half alone.
The Brad Holdroyd try, that was the first try Widnes scored. That was absolutely unbelievable. So you get Matty Smith, put the kick up. Holroyd catches it on the full And Widnes, they just rolled Workington from that point onwards.
Yeah. Looking at watching the game in that, what was I going to say? Widnes absolutely tore Workington to shreds.
They didn't stand a chance.
They were putting passes here and everywhere. Then you could see an obvious thing was going to happen. That Widnes had the ball, passed to the outside. There was one defender, passed back to the inside, went through, ankle tapped and scored.
Danny Craven and Avon and Sam Wilde both bagged doubles. Adam Lawton, playing off the bench, bags a hat trick. Off the interchange, gets a hat trick.
How often did you hear that? An interchange player getting a hat trick?
I have no idea. I don't know how many times you hear of a bench player or an interchange player scoring a hat trick. I mean,
that's the first time I've heard one in a long time, if not at all.
Must have been a bloody good one. Of course, Workington tried to fight their way back, but the way the Vikings lit them up, there was no coming back from that.
No. Even when they were down 30-12 half time, there was no way Workington were going to come back.
Simon Finnegan has just presided over a demolition job on Workington. Now, of course, it's only 2 weeks in, so we can't really gauge where the championship sides are at the moment. I mean, purely due to for and against and more than likely points percentage, Widnes sit atop of the table. This thing could change very quickly despite going with back-to-back wins. I mean, you got Lee sitting in 4th, you got Featherstone sitting in 5th, the Bulls in 6th, and London are yet to get a win on the board. But if London puts something together, they could climb up the table easily.
They certainly can. It's, like I said, it's only the second week in, so it's hard to get a read. But with anything can change, like a click of, like a blink,
But I think
and it can change.
Widnes fans will be hoping that maybe one day they could return to Super League.
Maybe.
It's been 4 years since they last featured in the top flight. Maybe if they squeak in the 6th, which is saying a lot, or if they can, maybe they might get that chance.
There's definitely quality teams in this championship this season.
Of course, Featherstone, the Lee Centurion, and another.
Yeah, Halifax.
London and Bradford would have to be up there as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be tight to see who's going to get into top 6, but really, Widnes could sneak under the radar and be up in that top 6 and maybe sneak into the Super League for 2023.
Well, one thing's for sure, Workington will really be licking their wounds right here after getting demolished 12 tries to 1.
Yeah.
And with the way, sitting at the bottom of the table, beneath Shrewsbury and Whitehaven, they're going to have to pick it up if they want to stay in the championship.
Yeah.
Because right now, they're hovering in that relegation zone.
Yeah.
But like I said, 2 weeks in, so we don't really know.
Yeah, it's hard to get a read on things at the moment, but you never know what is going to happen. Rugby league is a very, very funny game and unpredictable at times.
Well, what isn't funny is, unfortunately, it's time to finish. It's full time from us. If you like this part of the Sideline Chat podcast, or part 1 with the NRL, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button for 6. Don't forget to ring the notifications bell so you never miss a week of rugby league action. Don't forget to give us a follow on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is Sideline Chat for Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter, it's Sideline Chat RL. Hope you enjoy this edition of the Sideline Chat. We'll be back next week to have a look at the Super League Round 1, the Indigenous All-Stars game, and bring you part 3 of our NRL 2022 previews. Along with Marguerite, I am Connor Marcellus, and you have been listening to the Sideline Chat podcast. We'll see you next week.
CS.